Well, hello, welcome back, my Royal Rogues. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue. And tonight, I want to talk about a topic that remained pending from around a week ago. And it was this article written by Gary Goldsmith, also known as Uncle Gary, exposing a number of lies in Omid Scobie's Endgame. Pantomime season is upon us, I know, but I've never seen such a one dimensional depiction of my niece Kate as the one I have just read in Omid Scobie's book Endgame. Does the man we'll see as Meghan's mouthpiece really believe that the Duchess of Sussex is Cinderella and the Princess of Wales an ugly sister? If he does, he needs his head tested. What does that make Harry? Buttons? Scobie, of course, has form. His first book, Finding Freedom, Harry, Meghan, and the Making of a Modern Royal Family, was highly biased towards the Sussexes, and when I saw the author parading his latest tawdry tome round the TV studios this week, I thought he was a smarmy character with a definite financial goal and an awful affected voice. But I didn't expect him to be such a fantasist. His book made me feel nauseous. I had to put it down many times because the content made me so angry and I haven't even been able to finish it. It's such a character assassination of William and Kate, in particular, who is mentioned an extraordinary 291 times. There's even a chapter devoted to her, Kate, my niece. And now we're even being told that Kate has been accidentally named as the supposed royal racist, along with her father in law, King Charles, in the Dutch translation of the book. Somehow, the names of two of the most upstanding members of the royal family were in the manuscript when it was sent to Dutch translators, in a passage about an exchange of letters between Meghan and Charles regarding members of the royal family and unconscious bias. It's utterly ridiculous to consider that Kate is a racist. Racism isn't something which is inherent in anyone, it comes from an environment. Both Kate's mom, Carol, and I grew up in Southall, West London. Color, race, age, creed, and religious beliefs have never been a factor in our friendships or values. To think Kate would buck that trend is totally bonkers. And if the standing ovation she and William got on Thursday night at the Royal Variety performance is anything to go by, the British public know this too and don't believe a word of these absurd claims. The whole book is just a tapestry of giver and falsehoods sewn together with his personal opinion. It is Scobie milking his relationship with the Sussexes for every cent it's worth and stirring up a pot which has been stirred enough. Let's face it, this one sided, snidey account will make it even harder for any of the royal family to reach out to Harry and Meghan now or in the short term future. From the first page to the last, all Scobie does is retell well worn stories, but with a particularly vicious slant, using terms such as pliable, tightly controlled, and carefully assembled to scoff at Kate. He even pursues the laughable theory that Carol orchestrated Kate's relationship with William, pushing her daughter to choose St. Andrew's University in a bid to meet William when, in fact, she would rather have gone to Edinburgh. The Middleton strategy involved more than just aristocratic affectation. Carol calculatingly placed Kate right at the center of young Prince William's world, he writes. What rubbish. St. Andrews is the best university for history of art, and Kate did well to get in. Does Scobie really believe that Carol was sitting there in a war room down in the basement of Bucklebury planning out some devious strategy saying, right, if we put her in the right place on this day, then bang, fireworks? Then there's the offensive comparison of my niece to Princess Diana, suggesting that, unlike her late mother in law, who was strong minded, Kate has been a much more teachable, pliable future queen. I believe it's laudable that Kate worked so hard as a member of the royal family, and she should be applauded for being keen to serve. But Scobie clearly sees this character trait as a negative and even suggests that she earned the nickname Katie Keene on social media. It's not a name I've ever heard used. If it ever was, it must have been bandied about among his two mates. It sounds to me like Scobie's whole social network would fit in a back of a Mini. Oh, that's hard. He goes on to claim that Kate is work shy because she only has 20 patronages, and he criticizes her decision as a mother of three to center her work around school terms. Personally, I think the British public has been really impressed with how William and Kate have chosen to modernize the royal family and put their loved ones up there with duty as a priority. You can see the confidence in young Charlotte, and both George and Louis are so well behaved at public events. Kate is doing a brilliant job as a mother and still finds time for her royal duties. What's wrong with that? She is a fantastic role model. That's what the majority of decent humans think. In Scobie's skewed view of the world, even this nice, loving little family is something to be mocked. In echoes of Harry's Torto's memoir Spare, Scobie refers to the Wales family with the dismissive phrase, the heir and spare tasks achieved. Let the spare thing go, mate. They love all their children equally. When Kate opted not to attend William's Earthshot Prize in Singapore last month, I think she did the right thing, staying in the UK to make sure George was prepped for his exams. After all, he is our future king. Imagine them sitting together at the kitchen table working on his homework. That's a great example of family life we all resonate with. And so is Kate's legacy project, the Royal Foundation Center for Early Childhood, highlighting the importance of those first years. Scobie even manages to make that sound rubbish, churlishly focusing on how supposedly nervous she was about public speaking and being filmed for a segment on Peter unveiling her Back to Nature garden at the Chelsea Flower Show. In a patronizing tone, Scobie writes, naturally timid and introverted, Kate had historically skewed giving interviews or public speaking, instead finding comfort in engagements that were often led by a host while she quietly followed, giving a speech from a script or teleprompter. I had to take a moment to compose myself because that is not the Kate I know and is simply not true. I saw her on the show and she was a natural. I know that she is mindful of her role and lets William take the lead on their joint projects, but she speaks very eloquently and she always has, and it's refreshingly authentic. And why criticize someone who reads from a script? Bill Gates does it. The Prime Minister does it. So does the President of the US, and everything that weaselly individual writes has a negative spin that is not deserved. No one who has watched Kate over the years could call her shy. She is always getting involved and throwing herself in the deep end. It's the Middleton way. And I don't think she's had elocution lessons, despite Scobie's claim that she now sounds plummier than William. She sounds the same as she always has. Scobie doesn't seem to understand the public's love for her and sounds so bitter when he declares that Kate gets overwhelmingly positive media coverage for performing the simplest of tasks, such as flipping a pancake. Let's be honest about what's going on here. As Jamois wrote in the Mail this week, Scobie's book is a reshaping of events through a golden Sussex prism. For it is when he is describing the relationship between the Cambridges and the Sussexes that Scobie shows his true colors, painting Harry and Meghan as the perfect working royals and suggesting that the Cambridges look dull in comparison. This sounds to me like blatant jealousy, as William and Kate have always been the main event and Harry and Meghan the sideshow. Our future monarchy will always be front and center for obvious reasons, but until the Sussexes felt that they were not getting the lion's share of the publicity, it was harmonious. Then all hell broke loose. He suggests that Caddy was unwelcoming to her future sister-in-law, and spent more time talking about her than to her. But I suspect cultural differences were at play. For me, Megan is too rumbustious and desperate to be the center of attention. Kate will generally put people at ease, make them feel relaxed, and try to make them feel important. It's a superpower which is very difficult to pull off when you have a ZBD character bouncing about demanding special treatment and the spotlight. Relationships need time to develop. It does not mean that Kate is cold or frosty. She's very welcoming, has a loving heart, and a warmth around her. But realistically, she would also naturally be reserved meeting someone new for the first time. In Scobie's Megan Good, Kate Bad world, there seems no room for this kind of nuance. In one passage, he drips yet more poison on Kate while elevating Megan with a saccharine reference to the latter's outgoing nature and leadership potential, and describing them as qualities for which Kate isn't known. In another reference, he seems to be trying to claim Kate even owes her style to her sister in law, saying she transformed her wardrobe into more relaxed business casual attire, chosen by the Californian Duchess. Even Maxid, which was so damaging to the monarchy and put Kate, William, and their young family under enormous strain, and of course required them to take on the patronages vacated by the Sussexes when they flounced off, is seen by Scobie as an example of the Muppets in Montecito actively helping the Waleses. That period saw the introduction of Kate 2.0, a slightly more relaxed, more relatable Duchess with a voice that could be needed to be heard, he drones. The idea of Kate and William taking advice from Teen Maxid is ludicrous. I must say I struggle to understand why Scobie has got such a warped view of the world. He's so well balanced, he's got chips on both shoulders. Luckily, my family is made of sterner stuff. I'm sure both Carol and Kate will keep calm and carry on. Business as usual. It's too close to Christmas and they have more important work to do than worrying about retired royals in Montecito. If I had one Christmas wish, it would be that people don't buy this book and stop talking about it. It's not a stocking filler, it's a Christmas turkey. If someone bought it for me, I certainly wouldn't put it on my bookshelf. It would be straight out of the back door and into the garden on the compost heap. But my rogues, I would love to know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the Royal Rogue, and until we meet on another video or another live, remember the two most important words: much love and bliss.